Hi, this is Gail. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought that I would show you some envelopes that I made a while back, and I thought you might enjoy seeing how they are made. So these are the envelopes. If you notice, they are actually made out of Edith Holden pages. And there are those pages at the very back of the book that just have lists of flower names or what have you. And so, what I saw done, and I've looked for the video and cannot find it to give credit to the person who actually first did it, is they actually took the Edith Holden pages and made them quite beautiful. Let's see if I can get this off. Aha, I did. By taking vellum or tracing paper or onion skin, running that through their printer with whatever print that they wanted. In my case, it was floral print. And then, in this case, sewing it on to the Edith Holden paper. So you're using the paper up, but you're making it pretty. And I thought these were just gorgeous when I saw them done by another person, and I had to give them a try, and I really loved them. So again, even this part is Edith Holden paper, couple of brads, some lace trim or some linen and printed trim that has been ruffled. And I can't remember, but I think this might be antique papery that was printed on the tracing paper or onion skin. It's quite old, at least 20 years old, so I'm thinking it's onion skin, not tracing, but I'm not positive. And then over here, a little label, a little die cut, and some pretty lace. So, pretty neato. And inside, oh, notice there was some lace here as well. And then inside there are, well, I'm not going to pull them out, but there are some little journal cards, okay? So pretty easy to make. So this was the first one, and I made two because I just loved them. And yep, well, you get the idea. Pretty little beads on the end. And here's the second one. Now this one, I have the label, the little fussy cut flower, some lace. Again, I think it's the exact same paper or very similar, and I believe it's antique papery. And again, the ruffle, the cute little flashy brads, and the cute little beads. And inside, again, a couple of journaling cards. So, before we get started, let me show you how I started out. Originally, I wanted to show you how to make these paper snippets. Now, these are created, excuse me for reaching, created from adding paper rolls. And I saw this done, probably 3 years ago. I mean, it's been a really long time. And I remembered making them while I was babysitting my grandson right after he was born. And he's 3.5 now. So, been a long time. When I looked online, I believe it was Almut Olsen. And I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your name. And I will link her video about doing this beneath. Anyhow, wanted to show you how to do these. Why? Because they were so much fun and so relaxing. I mean, incredibly relaxing. And it was a great way to use up paints or just to play with paint. You could use sprays, you could use watercolors. I used paints, and it's obvious that I was into the sort of metallic paints, and so I'm sorry if there's a glare, so I'm kind of tilting things to avoid that glare. But what I did was I painted, I stenciled, I stamped, and then I just made marks with my favorite mark makers, okay? So I'll just sort of pull some across from you. And they were like painty snippet rolls. And the idea was you could use them in your journals for like a side tuck, bottom tuck, pocket, belly band, whatever. Or you could cut them apart and use them in collage and those kinds of things. So this is one. Oh, and see, it was great because it made me get into my stamps, which I don't use nearly enough these days now that I'm into journals. I use them some, but some of them are just gorgeous stamps. So I need to get them out and play with them far more frequently. So I made some of these and gave them to fellow crafters, and hopefully they've used them and not just let them sit and go to waste. So you could paint whatever colors you wanted. You could mix the colors. You could do any number of things to have a little creativity in there. So you see, that's one big roll right there. Oh, and now we're into my favorite color, lavender and purple. And you see, I used a different paint, obviously, for the stenciling. Oh, sorry about that doggone glare. Okay, so we're to the end of that one. Now, these were literally rolled up, okay? Now, I did have some other ones, and they didn't meet with such a great fate, okay? And here you can see this one. It had a little bit of like glitter in it, and so, yeah, when it got rolled onto the other part of the roll, it stuck. So when I pulled them apart, I lost, and things ripped. But I still salvaged some, and I had a blast doing these. Truly so relaxing and fun, okay? And so this is what I had initially wanted to do with you all. Well, I did a practice run, okay, and I'm going to show you. I am working on a new journal, and this is kind of curly. Haven't ironed it or anything yet. And you might be able to tell from looking at the stamps what this journal is going to be all about. Well, I wasn't real thrilled. I used distress paints, and I just wasn't real thrilled with the paint. And I have put matte Mod Podge over this so that hopefully it won't stick. But I don't know, I just wasn't real thrilled with them. And the colors are, I chose these colors because it is going to be a woodland forest journal. Now, those I did so that they could be side tucks. These I did so that they could be pockets. And these I felt turned out a bit better, and I liked the colors a little bit more. Oh, that doggone glare. So you can see, just using some of my stamps and such. So, and I do not know, whatever my stamp pad was that I was using, I could not find where I was picking that ink up from. So finally got it right by the third one, but oh well. So anyhow, it was one of those days where I just felt like things kind of didn't turn out the way I had wanted. So I bagged that and then went to working on these envelopes, okay? So let me show you how, though, squirrels just kept interfering. Squirrels, and I mean literally squirrels. So you can see I had this idea, and I had gotten something, and the backing that it came on was this cardboard that very much reminded me of a birch tree. And so birch trees are kind of what I want to be part of the theme in this next journal. So, yes, a squirrel intervened. literally. He's a slider squirrel. He came running across the page and intervened with and interfered with what I was working on. Well, then I watched a friend's tutorial on making these three-tiered pockets. Well, I still have 2 more journal cards to make, and what happened was, yeah, I didn't do it properly. It's cool. It's fine. It's 3 pockets, but it was supposed to be more like this one. And let me show you this one. This one. This was from Lori of Grammy's Keepsakes. And she showed us how to make these in a tutorial, so I'll link her below as well. It was supposed to open like this. Okay, and you have your 3 journal cards. Well, the way you do it, you're going to have some upside down images. This one doesn't matter because it's going to be glued to the page in the book anyhow. So this one I kind of camoed with some die cuts and some words. Then over here, ta-da, this one I camoed as well with a die cut and again some more words. Really pretty though, colors. This is actually some vintage gift wrap that my daughter found for me at the Salvation Army. Okay, so here's what the journal cards look like. And this says field notes. This is from Musings by Nikki. And then the back, field record. So each of them has that on, each card has that on it, is what I'm trying to say. So that was another little, pause in my creative juices flowing in the wrong direction. Okay, so then you can see that I printed off some more Musings by Nikki and was folding pockets. Well, then Carol from Oak House, well, she did this tutorial. And yeah, I had to try it. And it's really cool. She calls it a flip up, flip out. And whoops, I hope it didn't get stuck a little bit. Okay, so you can write, whoops, I'm just having fun today, aren't I? Write all over the inside of this, and then you scrunch it all back up. It is magnetic close, and isn't it cute? So, those were some of the squirrels that ran across my path while I was trying to get these envelopes ready for you. Typical me. So, back to the envelopes then. Now, what I have done already to save some time is I printed off my papers that I wanted to use on the onion skin that I have, and I will cut them and glue them down. So first things first is you have to have your pages from your Edith Holden books. Now all I simply did was cut them off in front of the even side over here, and then pretty much the same thing over here. I see a little bit less of the wording or the letters are there on the side, but I measured so that they would be the exact same size as the other envelopes because I didn't want them too long for in my journal, okay? So I wanted to make sure they would fit. All right, so anyhow, so first step is to print off your paper and glue it down. So let's do just that. I always like to glue down this first part. Oh, and by the way, to help you have things mostly upright, you can, it depends on what part you want to be upright, okay? I took mine and folded it in this fashion, so you're looking at it and everything is in the proper order. Flip that up and then this one down. However, you can do it the other way It just depends on what part you want to be in the upright position. This way, over here on this side, the wording is upright. But truthfully, do you see it that much? No, doesn't really matter to me. It may matter to you, however. Okay, so going to do some gluing here. I did buy some Oohoo glue, and I need to get that out and use it as well, but I have this already started, so I thought, why not? Now, I am gluing it, but I am going to sew this. So, I've already kind of looked at it to see how I want it lined up, and I pretty much am following the edges here. So you just need it well enough to stay stuck down until you sew. Do you have to sew? Absolutely not. If you don't want to sew, don't sew. It's totally up to you. So now I'm just going to trim off the excess. Okay. So then I have this one done. Now, originally, I tried to just do it all using one page and wrap it around and whatever, but things were all upside down and cockeyed, and I kind of have a thing about things being in the proper order. I don't know. Is it just me? Maybe. Okay, so then over here, I really kind of like that lavender. So I think I want that there. So let's glue that down. Kind of going a little heavy-handed here, and I don't really need to so much, but it's all good. Okay, so now, oops, wrong way. Oopsie. There we go. Really like the lavender that comes out in this portion. It's still Woodlands. These are from Artie Mays, by the way, and it's her fern and something, but mainly fern DigiKit, and beautiful stuff. So really perfect for this journal. And then here, I'm going to trim this off. Doesn't have to be perfect if you're going to sew. I guess if you are going to just glue, you might want to use something a little bit sturdier if you're concerned about those areas where the papers join. Okay, and then I want to use this part over here. I kind of like that a lot. So I just want to use that turquoise color. So I'm going to trim that off. Don't know why my camera seems to be in a little different position. I worked with a little bit before I started recording, but hey, I think you get the picture. Pun, pun, pun. Okay. I'm gonna glue this down. I don't know. I think I kind of want it right there, just like it's an address. Now, when I go to sew this, I will sew around that first thing before I even sew anything else, because it's so easy to get all these other things sewn and then realize, oopsie, can't sew it unless you sew up the whole bag or the whole envelope, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so I think I'll stop there and switch to the other one that I've already done. I think you get the picture. So here again, I would just cover. And when I would start to sew, like I said, first thing I would sew is open up the envelope and sew around this part. Then I would sew this seam here with paper on it. Then you have to sew this part because it's going to come up and you don't want to close your envelope. And then finally you can start here and go all the way around and sew it up. Okay? But I forgot one very important thing. And that is, don't forget to put whatever you're going to adhere your envelope with. Don't forget to do this bottom section before you seal up the envelope, because yeah, I did that. Yes, of course. So I learned from my mistakes. So after you do your sewing, just with the one side here, might want to stop and then put on your attachment. Whether it be a button, whether you want to use, I don't know. I want to say rivets, that's not the right word. Brads, buttons, whatever, okay? Now, the other thing is to watch your alignment when you put it on, because it's real easy to mess that up and not have enough room. Okay, so let me show you what I've done. So I went ahead and did the sewing on another one that's very similar because I didn't want you to have to wait, and my sewing machine is out of range, so you know, the whole thing. So here I made it like a fake stamp, and I have another little stamp that we can use to kind of make it look like it's canceled. Let me do that real quick. So yeah, I am using permanent ink, and it is Ranger Archival ink. You know, these big ones are wonderful and they last forever, but they don't do so well like if you're trying to use a stamping platform, because they're too big and they get in the way and then you get ink all over. Ask me because, yeah, I've done that. So I'm just going to put this kind of right here, hold it down for a few. It's so little I didn't see the need to get out a stamping block. I may regret that, however, because yeah, that's me. Okay, so it's okay. It looks like it's been canceled, so I'll call that good enough. What do you think? It says London. I don't think it has a year on it. Okay, so there's that all taken care of. And the other thing that I wanted to do is I found a label. And I thought, wouldn't a label look cute right there? So, and I don't remember whether these are Musings by Nikki labels or Tracy Fox or Shabby Dabba Doodah Tina, but I found a label. So, I'm going to put that on. I did already distress it, and I did already go around the envelope and distress it as well, because I figured you really didn't want to sit and watch me distressing things. So let's see how this goes. And if this doesn't stick real well, because it seems like it's not wanting to, then I'll just get out either my art glitter glue, which I totally prefer over Fabri-Tac or Fabrifix, mostly because the Fabri-Tac smells so badly. I even went online to see, are there harmful effects from Fabri-Tac? Couldn't find anything, but that aroma is so pungent, so strong. And I do have now a smell and taste issue, and I'm not saying it's from Fabri-Tac, but I did wonder, so that's why I started doing some research. Now the Fabri-Tac, or pardon me, the art glitter glue is wonderful, and no, it doesn't have glitter in it in case someone's wondering. But I will tell you that if it's really cold where you live, like below 32, they will not mail it out to you because it will get frozen and not work. So right now here in Michigan, probably couldn't be getting any. So stock up for the winter. Okay, so what do you think? I think that looks kind of cute. Okay, so now on the back. Yes, I went ahead and I put this on the button, and I put that in to keep it from being glued together because I've been known to do that as well. Now, I goofed on this one, had to use a needle and sew it in from behind. It was a mess. Paper started to tear a little bit. So yeah, that's why I say, do as I say, not as I did. Alrighty, now this one, I think I could almost do without putting it on, but I kind of want to, just so it'll look all cutesy. But before I put that on, I need to decide, do I want to put on some trim? So I think down here, I think this trim would look kind of cute down here. What do you think? I kind of like it. So let's put some of that on. And this will be fun, trying to get this to get glued down without making a globby mess of it. Just saying. It's not easy. Trying to get that spread out a little bit, but it's not seeming to want to. Okay. We shall see. Oh, don't want to set that down in it. Move it over. Okie dokie. Well, little gluey. Oh my goodness. I don't want it to be down so close that it's going to get bent up when you close the envelope. So alrighty, and I think this one kind of has to come down a little bit. Okay. Cute. I think it's cute. Okay. Then over here, I have the same stuff, but I also have this, which is kind of 3D and kind of yummy. So I think I kind of want to do that, but I have to be careful because if I'm going to put that on, got to make sure I have enough room. So I think I'll put it right above the zigzag and then put the button up a little bit higher. Okay, so let's do it. Yeah, and this stuff also is a mess. I think it'll be easier to put a stream of glue here. And then, oh yeah, put this down because I did use that already on something, and it is a little hard to keep stuck down there. The art glitter glue does an awesome job, though. It really does. But okay, so I have a little trim there. I'm trying not to make it as blingy as these other ones were, simply because it's a different theme. This was more romantic and shabby chic, and so the bling fit. But on this one, it's woodland, okay? So I don't feel like it should have the bling on it so much. So the next thing that I want to do is to put this on. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac because this is a little bit slippery. And then the last thing that we have to do is put on, okie dokie, good old Fabri-Tac. Then we just have to put on our string and our butt and our bead. Okay. I'm going to put that right there. And I can tell you that it does have a little bit of a curve to it because I used bookbinding, waxed bookbinding thread, and it's quite thick, as you know, and so it makes for a little bumpiness and curvature, which makes it harder to keep it down. So we'll just take a few minutes to make sure it's glued down well before we add the string and the bead to it. So, yes indeedy. And these buttons are almost, if you can tell, they are brown like wood. So I thought that was kind of cool, and there's a little texture to them. They almost look like they're a very light corduroy. So I figured, what am I ever going to use them on? And this seemed like the project to take a chance. So why not? So as you saw, my next project is going to be nature woodlands, and that'll be my next journal. But I do have to finish my boho journals, and I'm working on them. And just like I said, a couple squirrels ran interference on me. Okay, so next thing is, let's see, how do we do this? Okay, I am thinking, yeah, I already put the bead through because it's a wooden bead and not a super wide opening, to say the least. So I thought that if I did it this way and it's not moving like I want it to, of course. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. There we go. So now it's wound on there, and maybe I will have to tuck this a little bit under here, but that's okay. And then, oh no, of course, I didn't wait long enough. Well, let me get it strung on here, and then I'll leave it alone. How's that? What do you think? Cute enough? Slide that back over and leave it alone. It's just hasn't set up enough. Okay, so This is for the Woodland Journal, of course, so I'll be doing more items along these lines. So if you're interested, tag along and see what else I do. So I will have to finish up this other envelope, but I think you get the picture, so I don't see the need to have to do yet another one while you're watching, but you will see the finished project later on. And also, I was thinking about doing a little mini series on this. Now, I don't know if you watch Susie McGuire, but she has a Facebook group and a YouTube channel, and she saw something like this in Somerset Studio, I believe, and she tries to mimic projects from Somerset Studio. So she did one of these, and she used guest checks that she sewed or glued together using some linen. Mine is done a little bit differently in that I actually used a file folder that is a pocket file folder, okay? And so here's mine inside, and you'll notice each one of these has a little angel. Where'd they go? I don't know where that one's at, but it's in there. It's sticking out over the top, and they are like little bookmarks that you can pull out and use as well. So see, isn't that cute? Anyhow, that's the front. This is the back. And I apologize, I've been working on my program for recording, and unfortunately I finally got autofocus off tonight, but I still have not figured out how to zoom without creating hotkeys. So I guess I'm going to have to create some hotkeys, which I know isn't that hard, but right now a little bit more than what I want to deal with, but I think it will be necessary. So anyhow, you will notice that I did cut up some guest checks and use on the back, but I figured, why reinvent the wheel if I had a file folder, and then that created openings inside and I could use those as well. So yeah, and this I did not do any sewing on. Now you can, but I did not choose to. So if you think that's something that you'd like to see a tutorial on, please let me know. That could be in the near future. Alrighty, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, just let me know. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, please. Alrighty, have a great day or evening wherever you are. And thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.